There we are. Okay, that ought to do it. Can you hear me? Gang. There we are. Okay. There we are. Okay. Yeah. I think the audio is working now. Hi everybody, welcome. Skybreaker versus Fangs and Fire, League of Dracula 2024. League's just getting started, and this is, I think, the third game or something. Should be interesting. I don't have any co-commentators here, so I might run out of fascinating things to keep you interested in watching, but I will try to at least let you know what's going on, so if you're just listening, you're still in the know. Let me try to bring it up. It needs a little help. I can just plug it in, that usually helps. Here we go. Alright, that ought to do it. Let me know if it's still not balanced enough for you, if the music's too loud or anything. Just tell me. But yeah, should be louder. Jonathan Harker in play. Loving husband and father. Devoted writer downer of Dracula's misdeeds. Nothing unusual to report here, and if I had a co-commentator, maybe we'd make a bunch of chatter about the state of events in the league right now. But heck, there's only been 2 games, so there's not really much of a narrative forming yet. Still needs a little time in the oven. But, you know, soon we'll probably have a few guys who are on a hot streak, and they become the people to take down. Maybe we'll have a few people who are falling behind a bit, but with still time, they could make up the distance in the pack, but it's just still too early to even think about things like that. We had a good win from, who was it who won? It was, gosh, I can't even remember. Who's gonna win this one? Alright, let's think. It's impossible to say at this point. I mean, I know Fangs is a strong player, and he's a really strong Dracula in particular. Although he's probably one of the more balanced players. He's good at both sides, but I think he maybe prefers Dracula. But I mean, Skybreaker already. That's who it was who won, if I'm not mistaken. It was Skybreaker who won a game the other night. I can just check. Here's the content channel. Yeah, so Airlib has played Snuff. I missed that one. I haven't seen that game yet. And I guess they played both of their games too. Yeah, they played a doubleheader. Yeah, okay, so they played 2 games. I totally missed out on those. But Strider played Skybreaker, and Skybreaker got away as Dracula. I know about that one. And then there's one other game I'm forgetting about. So I guess this is the 5th game so far. Alright, there's 3 spots on the trail now. Dracula did not misdirect his starting location, which happens sometimes. Maybe he wants to make a lair out of it. So I'm not crazy. They added the bird chirping sound effects. That wasn't there before. Gilles Sandwich. Yes, that's who I was forgetting about. Yes, and Wormtalon played a pretty slick game against him and got away. Yes, I remember. There was a misdirecting of Strasbourg. Yeah, that was the one I was forgetting about. Thank you, Scott. Sorry. Good game, that. Yeah, never underestimate that from Paris, you can actually be in 44 in 3 days, right? Seems like a really slow and bad route for the hunters because there's trains that are better than that, right? But when you're Dracula, that little route from Paris to Strasbourg to Nuremberg to Prague, pretty neat little route because you can be in a different region in 2 days, and then in a third day you're in a third region. Wax cylinders, is it going to reveal a hide? Oh no, not this time. That would have been kind of cool. But on the plus side, at least you know he didn't hide. So this first encounter, whatever it might be, it's not going to... You're not going to land on it and get hit by a bat, right? You can deal with the encounter. So still some information given by that, I suppose. You know, with the garlic reef. It'll be gone soon. Yeah, Mina revealing hypnosis. A little unfortunate, but on the plus side, at least you drew the card on the right person. Okay, there's the misdirect of the starting location, so that implies either forgetfulness on Dracula's part or some kind of other plan, like he actually is returning there. Like sometimes I forget to misdirect the starting location, and then later I'll still do it to prevent the newspapers. That could happen. Or it could be that he's legitimately trying to return to somewhere. Let's see what happens with today. We're going to get a newspapers. Godalming's going to get a Dracula card. That's unfortunate. Because there's nothing like when Godalming gets that newspaper and reveals the day 3, and everybody else can move accordingly. Let's see what happens. Another Dracula card for Van Helsing. That kind of sucks. Oh, and another one. Shucks. That's... Oh, look at that. Look at that, Scott Sword. You know, I didn't know you could do this. It's a Dracula card. It's a Hunter card. It's a Dracula card. It's a Hunter card. Hypnosis. Okay. To learn that he's in Italy. Alright. You only get one, kid. I hope you make it count. So Dracula's in Italia. Yeah, it's gone now. Now what do you do? Take the train into Italy and start rooting out those encounters? I mean, the unfortunate thing is that we actually don't really know that this encounter is in Italy. Like, it likely is. I think it's very likely that Fangs of Fire went from Rome to Bari. Then from Bari, he went to Naples. And then when he was in Naples, he played the hide card. Okay? This is exactly what went down. He went to Naples, and then Wax Cylinders was played while he was in Naples. Then he played the hide card, right? And he misdirected Rome and moved on to Rome. So he's in Rome right now. That's my theory. But unfortunately, like, it could be the case that the rumor token is in somewhere like Paris, right? And he just went to Geneva and then Zurich. Like, we don't really know that for sure. That'd be way unlikely because extremities rule when you're Dracula, right? You always want to hit the extremity and put down the big, juicy, mature. Makes that the first idea makes a lot more sense to me. Like, he saw the wax cylinders and he thought to himself, heh, now I'm gonna hide, because he wouldn't dare use wax cylinders again on the next night. Not when you have like a horse economy that you have to worry about this early on in the game. You wouldn't waste it like your night action just by wax cylindering twice in a row. That's what he was thinking. So he's like, I'll hide in Naples. That's just my theory. Either that, or he just went to Naples and then he misdirected Rome and moved to Rome. Actually, that makes a lot more sense. So it was probably just Bari. It was probably start in Rome, move to Bari, move to Naples, misdirect Rome, move to Rome, move to Florence. Yeah. Yeah. We'll see how that hypnosis pans out. I like that. Try to force Dracula to wolf form here, maybe. Put Mina in 57. And yeah, I actually rather like that, because it forces him to take off with wolf form. And yeah, that's not great for us, for hunters, right? Because he could go to 36 or he could go to 38, but that's it. or 37, right? So that's not the best wolf form in the world at all. 1, 2, 3 locations. That sucks. That's terrible wolf form. So if you just stand on 57, go on, do it, Skybreaker. Stand on 57. Either that, he's gonna have to move on to you, and then you can get him in a 2-on-1. Seward just moved to Bordeaux to protect 36. I like that. So if he does go to 36, you'll find that out shortly. Yes! Okay, he's on to him. Okay, so maybe this hypnosis could actually be worth its weight in gold if you can really mess up Dracula's plans here. He can't even misdirect anything, right? So he can't wolf form back down into Italy with a misdirect, even if he wanted to do that. Which, that would be dangerous anyway, because these cards are getting close to maturing. You wouldn't want to misdirect them. But now he doesn't even have the option to do that. He has to go to 37 to 36 or 38. Otherwise, he has to just hide here, which would be really risky. Or he can just move on to one of the hunters without placing down an encounter, but that would be possibly even more risky. Yeah, interesting game here. This is like moving your pawns in chess to block off your opponent's options. All he had to do was take 2 movement actions, and it severely hindered Dracula's schemes, I think. Not only that, but he's moving closer to the encounters, so maybe tomorrow he can have Godalming go to Rome, right? And then if he doesn't get ambushed by bats or something like that, he can take care of Bari the next day. Or he could take a chartered carriage straight to Bari. This is tricky, because if you only send one hunter into Italy to deal with the encounters, it's possible stuff will mature, right? If you get hit by a fog, you get hit by a bats, there's the wolf form, yep. But how many do you commit to Italy here, and how many do you commit to going after Dracula? I think you... Yeah, it was smart to get Van Helsing to the sea already. You definitely want him moving so you can close in around Dracula more effectively. If a speedy would be nice here, but do you try to get Dracula in a fight here, or do you just focus on his trail? What do you do? I think it depends on how well prepared you are to fight him, because if you have like holy circles and knives and rifles and stuff, I think maybe you go for it, because there's so limited places he can be, and you can really put the hurt on him potentially, stop him from escaping as a bat, as long as you're like pretty sure you can do that. We gotta be careful here, because escaping as a bat from 36 or 38, or heck, even 37, kind of dangerous. You don't want him to do that, and if Dracula escapes as a bat on the day that he wolf formed, right, or the next day after the night he wolf formed, he'll clear the wolf form off of his space, and that's really scary. So you don't want that to happen. Then again, if this card matures, it's not going to clear the wolf form. So long as this is some kind of honest rumor token, right? The rumor token is on space 5, and the wolf form is on space 1. So the 3 in between will be cleared. His whole trail in Italy will be inconsequential. It'll all be made irrelevant by the mature. Assuming, like I said, it is a vampire and not just like a rumored hoax or something sneaky like that. Like maybe he rumored a bats in order to mature the hoax on the next space or something like that, right? Could be things like that going on. But I mean, it's really tempting to just go after him. Depends on the preparation. By moving these 2 hunters, you might have had to do that before they were actually fully prepared. Like, look at Mina here. She's still showing a garlic wreath. Which means whatever else she got, I mean, she felt like it was worth keeping that. Yeah, like, well put, Scott Sword. They have to decide now whether to move in one direction or the other. They can't go after Dracula and his trail at the same time, which is always, in my opinion, I think that's the position you want to be in, is Dracula. They have to, you're moving farther away from your encounters, and now they have an important choice to make. If you just ignore the trail and let it mature, and Dracula ends up with 7 points, you have to strike hard and fast at that point. Like, if he's got renewed vigor, sense of emergency, all that kind of stuff, then maybe he can afford to just let it mature. Wait, what? Did he miss? What? What did I miss? He did not go to Florence at all? So that means there was a hive. There was a hive in Rome. Where was the evil presence? I totally missed the result of it, Scott, or who who was adjacent to Dracula. He's not adjacent to any hunters. Okay. Here's the hide. Here comes the hide. No, it's in the location card deck. Okay. So there is some trickery going on here. Yeah. The encounter could be anywhere that isn't 25 or 57 or 20. So the encounter might have been in 24. Yeah, evil presence told the whole story. So perhaps moving Mina Harker to 20 was unnecessary. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if he had wolf formed out of 20, he'd have been adjacent to them. It's crazy to me the sort of shadow trail that Dracula had the commentary team believing. Look at this. See, it was Frankfurt. Yeah, he did that. And then he slunk around a few turns before probably ending up in Zurich or something like that, right? Then the hypnosis goes off, reveals he's in Italy, and Dracula says, "See ya, I'm wolfing out of here." Yeah, if he had started in Bari, then we would have effectively deduced where he was, but as I said at the beginning, there's always the chance that he didn't actually start in Bari, he just ended up in Italy somehow, and that sort of foiled the hunters here a bit. Now we have to suddenly pack up and haul away to Germany. Chartered carriage will get Dr. Seward there no trouble. See, myself included, the commentator, but also the hunter player, I think has maybe made too many assumptions here. Once that hypnosis went off and it showed Dracula was in Italy, myself and Skybreaker, I think, both kind of just assumed that Dracula put his first encounter down in Bari. Which, since that's not the case, now we've got people out of position. We've got Mina in 20. The evil presence, I think, should have told you not to bother to check 20. Now, I don't know that I'd have thought of that in the moment, right? But that's the lesson here, is when you see that evil presence, he's not adjacent to anybody. Okay, we've assumed too much about where he started. Okay, there is a chartered carriage. It's on Godalming instead, so he's going to take the train through the Alps. And it's a reckless. Nice train. Cool train from 25 to 21. That's a pretty cool chartered carriage. Good thing he had the backup plan. And Jonathan Harker coming in huge here. Without Harker, we'd have just had to scratch our heads about where he started and how he ended up in Italy on that particular turn. We're gonna escape. We got the stake. bloody now. What are you gonna do now? Dracula scores a point for fanging the Reckless. I mean, that's what you want as Dracula here, right? This guy's probably gonna get staked, so let him go down swinging, scoring a couple points, you know? Alright, he's looking for the knife, maybe, or maybe the hand just forced his hand. But he played strength and got the escape. But 1 point. 1 point and 2 damage, not too bad. 1 point's better than 0 points, even if it's not as good as 4 or 7. So, Dracula... I'm trying to remember what night Hypnosis was played. I think it was the night before Dracula wolf formed, I want to say, although I'm not 100% sure. No, he got Hypnosis, and then he moved 1 space, if I recall correctly, and then he wolf formed. So, I think that Dracula went from Frankfurt to Nuremberg or to Strasbourg. And then after that, he went to 60 or 24. Since he wolf formed, I'm liable to think it was Strasbourg. Okay, it wasn't Strasbourg. So maybe it was Frankfurt to Nuremberg to Zurich. Or maybe he went to Fort... He had to have ended up in Zurich because of the Hypnosis. No, see, you're falling for it, Skybreaker. He didn't go down that way. Yeah, he just dipped his toe into Italy via Zurich at some point, and that's when he wolfed out, was soon after. Vampire gets staked in Frankfurt. Not an extremity location, so Fangs Fire going for the less obvious approach, which can sometimes have the advantage of dodging hired scouts and the like. Ticketing, okay. Everybody's still moving by train and by road, by carriage. Haven't seen any fast horses revealed yet, if I'm not mistaken. Could have missed one. It is a viable strategy, in my opinion, to hide the horses from Count Dracula, to not reveal that you have them until an opportune moment, or until you really need to use them. I had it used against me, and it was quite surprising when, excuse me, the whole game I hadn't had to deal with fast horses hardly at all, and then all of a sudden, hunters are horsing onto me out of nowhere and catching up to me really fast, and it's messed up my calculations because I thought I had all this time. It can be an interesting idea. It's tough to resist using them early, though. So it is Nuremberg, okay. And then after that, it's got to be Zurich, or maybe Munich then Zurich. No, I think it is Zurich because that's when he got Hypnosis. Then he moved 1 space, and then he wolf formed. So you gotta check Munich here. You gotta check Zurich. It's not 36. Okay, that helps. So I'm thinking he probably went to Zurich and then he wolf formed, or he went to Zurich and then maybe Munich and wolf formed from Munich. I forget if anybody stopped at Munich, but no, they didn't. Mina and Godalming went straight from 58 to 25 and 57. So Dracula almost certainly went through Munich, is what I'm thinking. Because they just went straight south of him, and he was north of them at the time, right? He was in Nuremberg or Zurich at the time. Like, he sees them go take the train away, and he's like, perfect, I'll just step right into Munich. So yeah, goes Nuremberg, Zurich. He gets hypnosis here. Says, I'll just move on to 38 now, since hypnosis sort of gave them bad information in a way. Hypnosis told them that Dracula was in Italy, so they moved to 25 and 57 to block Dracula from leaving southern Italy. But what they didn't realize was he was in northern Italy. Ah, yes, everyone knows the great city of Zurich, which lies within the great nation of Italy. No, just the geographical region, okay? But yeah, that's a little unfortunate the way that worked out for the hunters. I mean, it's good to be prepared for the worst case scenario. You know, they wanted to be able... Skybreaker wanted to be able to send hunters down towards 5 to deal with the vampire rumor token and all that stuff. It makes good sense. You want to prepare for the worst situation, but now Dracula's slunk around past you while you were heading in that direction. Saboteur in Nuremberg. Okay, and no weapon revealed to deal with it. Classic. Now, at this point, I mean, it's still possible he went to 24 and wolf formed from there. Or even 37. But I really kind of doubt either of those. I think it's far more likely he just went to Munich and wolfed, so we should go check out Munich. Would have been kind of clever if Dracula misdirected that location. That might assist his efforts. But maybe he really likes the encounter card there. Yeah, well, I mean, if he misdirected it, that would help in the sense that Jonathan Harker wouldn't give them information for longer. But with Jonathan Harker being an issue, like, Jonathan Harker would just flip over the wolf form eventually anyway. So it would buy Dracula a little bit of time, but at the cost of an encounter, so maybe it's not worth it. But if Harker weren't in play, I would say go for it, because at that point they have to guess, did you wolf form from Munich or did you wolf form from Geneva? And the results of that could be very different. Like, I mean, theoretically, Dracula could be in Cologne. Well, I mean, not right now, but he could have wolf formed to Cologne. And now he's just having a day up in Hamburg and Berlin, hiding up there somewhere. There's lots of weird, shady things that could be going on. Oh, my connection's timed out. Hang on, gang. Stand by. There we are. Okay, Dracula's put down wolves in Zurich. Van Helsing reveals a pistol. Pew pew! Shoot that dog. Put him down. Put down old Yeller. Mina should... I don't know, she's just gonna supply. Okay, probably for the best. It's one of those games where we're just trying to stamp out these encounters, hopefully, and we're just barely treading water to keep up with it. But that's okay. If you can get a little momentum going here, you could maybe start to get a couple of encounters at a time. Get somebody to keep supplying. Get a good hand of cards going. This ain't gonna cut it for Godalming. He's short on cards. Seward is short one event. Van Helsing only has the 2 events. And Mina only has the 2 events. We need some events here. Yeah. So, I mean, I would be fine with the idea of just continuing to rely on Jonathan Harker for now. Stamp out these encounters one at a time if you have to. But get those events. Get them good. You don't need to worry about, oh, let's send a bunch of hunters in different directions to see where Dracula wolf form to. Like, I don't think that's... You've got Jonathan Harker right now for that. Just try to tread water and don't let these events mature. And then sooner or later, it's gonna, hopefully, it'll become obvious where Dracula is. Because like when Jonathan Harker reveals this wolf form, if it turns out it's 49, right? Then at that point it becomes obvious. Oh, we need to go into the east and burn him out and see where the game goes from there, right? Milan. Okay. Yeah, I still think it's Milan and then probably 38 right after. Maybe 57. Let's see, yeah, sending... We already knew he didn't go to 36, right? So why send Seward to Toulouse? Should be supplying. Check Nuremberg with Godalming. Maybe give him a chance to supply. Maybe even supply at night if you need to. Maybe. I mean, the way these cards are going, it depends. Who's going to deal with Milan? Is it going to be Mina? Is it going to be Van Helsing? I say you have Van Helsing go to Milan, deal with that, then he can start supplying after that. He can just stay in Milan and supply, hopefully, till he gets relevant cards. Then, you know, Alright, at this point, I think Dracula went to Zagreb. But it's possible he actually went to Florence. Be really slick. It'd be funny. Oh, Dracula's in Italy. No, he's not. He's up here. Oh, turns out he actually is. No, I don't think he could have pulled that off. No, because Mina was there. I'm pretty sure. I don't think that's possible. I think he just did the regular old Dracula move and said, I'm going straight to Zagreb. Everybody else is behind me, and they'll be dealing with my trail for some time. Okay, so since somebody else, I guess, is going to deal with Milan because Godalming went to Prague. So who you have deal with Milan? Probably Van Helsing. But if that's the case, I would actually say Godalming should just go to Munich and supply. Dracula didn't wolf form from Prague. He moved to 37 and then he wolf formed. Which means, I mean, he could have gone there afterwards, but I don't know. You gotta rely on Jonathan Harker here to tell you what you gotta know. Maybe that is a good move. Maybe that is a good move because you get him sort of blocking 44, and if Dracula didn't go that way, well, he won't now. And it's also a big city, so he can supply. There's the grab. Okay, so Van Helsing has a horse. So Mina's gonna deal with Milan here. Kinda iffy, but let's see. She does have the escape route. What do we think, chat? What do you do here? You just stick to Dracula's trail? I think now that Zagreb's revealed, this is actually kind of good for the hunters. Assuming we can get the movement situation sorted out. I mean, you could have Dr. Seward in 58 the day after tomorrow, with Godalming in 11, and Van Helsing in 50. At that point, you're at least threatening something, right? You're not necessarily going to be able to follow up on a big strike, but you're at least threatening to do something from there. Like, oh, I could have Dr. Seward use sense of emergency, and on a renewed vigor, he could be all the way in Athens, right? You put a little of the fear in Dracula because people are starting to get into the relevant positions where a big combo could happen. Although if I were Dracula right now, I wouldn't be that worried about it because you've got a wax cylinders and 2 other cards with Dr. Seward, for example, right? You've got 2 items and 2 events with Godalming. The hunters are tad undersupplied, as they say in the business. But what is undersupplied, you know? What is undersupplied? I would say it's when every single hunter has room for 1 more event. You're undersupplied. But I mean, it makes sense. We've done a lot of moving to position hunters in 57 and 25, and then to reposition hunters in 20, and then to reposition hunters again in 37, or 25, then 37. There's been lots of movement of the pawns in order first to block off Dracula's supposed exit from southern Italy, and then afterwards to try to reorient the pieces to attack the trail. When it turns out the trail was to the north and not the south. So now the pieces are kind of being used to try to poke around and discover Dracula's trail while also blocking off key areas. So there's so much movement going on that we're significantly down some items and events. So maybe we can get... I mean, he moved to one city that's adjacent to Zagreb. So wherever that is, Van Helsing can deal with that. Yeah, okay, I like moving Godalming to Budapest. He's threatening Dracula a little bit more from there. He could take a chartered carriage, maybe, or a horse somewhere. But since all the locations adjacent to Zagreb are locations that Van Helsing can move to, right? Maybe just have Van Helsing move and clean up the trail 1 step at a time. And then Godalming can continue to supply. But you'd wait for Jonathan Harker to tell you that. Oof, this is dangerous. But it tells us a lot, and that could potentially foil Dracula's plans a little bit too. Because if Dracula's in 46 right now, his very next move might have been to go to 55 and then 3, right? Or maybe he's in 56 right now and he was getting ready to go to 50 and then to 55, right? Lots of ways this whole loop in Europe can play out, but they all end the same way, with Dracula wanting to leave from Athens. If he can't leave from Athens, he'll leave from 46, right? If it's the more expedient way to get out, right? He could do his little loop all around Europe and all around Austria-Hungary and all around the northern Baltica region, And then eventually he has to go to 50, and then he'll have to go to 55 or 46. Typically he'd rather go to 46 so he can get straight to the Ionian without having to go to the Adriatic first. This is just the general rule. Sometimes he might actually want to go to the Adriatic so he can immediately land in Italy. Yeah. There's different ways it can play out. He might have to leave by 56 and go to the Black Sea, but Dracula never wants to do that. Why would you want to go to the Black Sea when you could go to the Ionia instead? It gets you out of there quicker with less damage. You can get to the west faster. Leaves open the idea that maybe you could have gone Black Sea on your second sea move. So yeah, ideally, whenever Dracula's over here, ideally, he wants to leave by the Ionian most of the time. And to do that, the best way to go is to leave by Athens, because it lets you lay down more trail before you go. If you just go 50, 46, and leave, that's less cards on the trail, and if you also add 55 and 3 to that before you go. So putting Van Helsing here either tells you, hey, Dracula's here already, and he's getting ready to go to Athens and leave, maybe. Or it tells you Dracula hasn't gotten there yet. So he may have gone to 50 or 46, and it was just one short of getting to Valona. We don't know. But long story short, it's a neat little move to block that place, because now Dracula will have to settle for the somewhat less optimal result of leaving for 46 instead. Or even worse, if you're able to block off these spaces, 50 and such, you could force him to leave by the Black Sea while he's over here doing this part of the loop. Which is something we saw in the game the other night with Geel Sandwich and Wormtalon. Something Wormtalon told me later was that was indeed his plan, was to go from 56 and head this direction to leave by Ionian, but the hunters blocked off the space and he was forced to leave a little bit early instead. But he might not be doing that, you know? He could be trying to get back out, but let's see, Szeged. Then after that you go to maybe Belgrade. Klausenberg, 10, 1756, something like that. I mean, there's all kinds of things this could be. This could be Szeged to Klausenberg to Galatz to 10, to 6, to 49. A little loop like that. Tricky. Okay. So this implies... So Bucharest is on the trail on the third space, so this implies Szeged to Klausenberg to Bucharest, or Szeged to Belgrade to Bucharest. Has to be one of those, actually. So I think it's more likely he went Klausenberg here. Szeged, Klausenberg, Bucharest. Then from there he actually went to Belgrade. And then you could go 49, 59. So you could be all the way back in Zagreb ready to wolf out. That's not necessarily what he did, but that's something you want to consider. Is that he could actually be this far if I'm not mistaken. I think he could be in 59. Gotta watch out. Nobody's gonna deal with this encounter card, unfortunately. So it looks like it's gonna mature. Pretty cool for old Dracula. He's gonna be happy with that. Oh, Dracula's here in Sophia right now. Look at that. That's wacky. So he did do... He went Szeged, Klausenberg, 10, 17, 56, and then 50. Yeah. Did the loop around the Black Sea coast. Haha, nice punch. Punched him right in his vampire face. Yeah, how you like that? Pointy teeth having, hat wearing. Well, now, Fang time. Give him the knife. Oh. Dracula at 2 points now. Old timer getting bit up. Now he's gonna have to fight the big boss. He's only got 4 health. Gonna have to fight the Don. Yes, he's in a fair amount of danger, that's right. Yeah, it's one thing to go around staking them, but when they're trying to beat you up in the day, and then you gotta face their Don at night, you gotta face Don Draculoni. He's gonna make Van Helsing an offer he can't refuse here. Uh-oh. Does he have anything? Any escape route? Planned ambush, maybe. Heroic leap. Nope. Oh, he's gonna pick on a old beat up old man, huh? Softened him up with the mob and the reckless Fangs. Yeah, that'll soften him up. Can Dracula finish the job? You want something done right, you gotta do it yourself, Drac. Oh my gosh, the funnest thing as Dracula is actually killing the hunter with your encounter card, I think. It's the best. Oh, he's got fangs and it's pistol. Okay. Holy bullets? Ooh, that's a bit unfortunate. Now we're down to the point where even strength will kill. And if you try to escape, claws will kill you even if you play great strength, which is actually, I think, a highly relevant thing that you gotta not forget about. Yeah, good dodge, good dodge. Now, if you escape, maybe he'll play Fangs because he doesn't have a second claws in his hand, right? Maybe he'll play the Fangs, and great strength would save you, where it wouldn't if it was claws. Maybe you just play your pistol again. No. Oh no! Great strength. Okay, but the danger here is that he's still in the fight and could still be killed. And now he lost his pistol too. Got slapped right across the room. Dracula broke it in half with his bare hands. Uh-oh. What's gonna happen? He's gonna plot. Van Helsing gets away. Oh, crazy. Crazy. He was either expecting the dodge or maybe just was out of damaging cards and had to hope for the dodge. It's tough to tell. Never know with the vampire. But yeah, he's going for the plot in hopes that Van Helsing would just dodge, and then he could set him up to die later. Maybe he only had like a strength, and he was really sure Van Helsing was going to try to run away or dodge, so strength would have been wasted, or something like that. Okay, soil. Oh, there's a dirt sound effect. I noticed more sound effects since I've turned up the volume of the sound effects. Yeah, I mean, Dracula still gets to beat up Van Helsing, break his weapon, get the great strength out of the way. Alright, get the soil cleared up. Can't be having that around. Dracula's gonna get a mature here, and he might even get a second one. Yeah, big win for Drac. Even if he didn't actually get the kill, he could maybe feed, right? Oh, Van Helsing will heal tonight, and he'll have 3 though. Okay, so a day fight. Oh, CG, and he was holding on to it. Oh my gosh, if he'd have died, he'd have lost CG and everything. Oh wow. There was so much riding on that. That is wild. So close to killing him and getting the CG. And when a hunter dies, I don't think the card is discarded face up. It's discarded face down. But so Dracula wouldn't have known for sure the CG was gone, but would have still been a massive coup, and he probably would have sniffed it out later that there was no CG kicking around. Where's he gonna put this last one? Does he have a last one? No, okay. Not sure. I don't know yet. I can't say for sure how effective this CG is. Oh, it was a hoax. The mature was a hoax after all. I'm not sure how Dracula kind of planned that out, or maybe like, because he put it right next to a mob, right? Maybe he was just hoping it would net a delay. I've done that before. Just people underestimate the hoax effect of just delaying the hunters. I think it can be kind of useful just to lay one down once in a while, just to delay them. Great Wolf. That's unfortunate for Drac. Nothing too special. Oh no, never mind. It kills Van Helsing. What am I talking about? Oh my god. Good thing he played Consecrated Ground. Okay, so Great Wolf kills Van Helsing here. Dracula gets 3 points for that. They're gonna lose 1 event and a fast horses, it looks like. But that could be a lot worse. It's a really good thing he played CG, actually. Whether or not it's the most effective one in the world, I don't think that really matters. Just because, yeah, I mean, he was smart enough to play it, right? I wouldn't have even thought of that. That like, oh, what if it's a hoax? And what if Dracula gets Great Wolf? And then what if he targets Van Helsing with it? Never would have even occurred to me to watch out for that card. So one way or another, it's worked out to play the CG. Now Dracula's gone. He's misdirected 56 in order to open up the possibility that he might have gone there. So Dracula's either in 56, or he's in 49, or he's in 6. No, he's not in 6, because 6 is still on the trail. So he's in 56 or he's in 49, and it's almost certainly 56. Come on, a renewed vigor with sense of emergency on Dr. Seward. And, like, Godalming supplies, and then he takes a fast horses to 56. Yeah, there it is. There's the vigor. They're gonna eat a big breakfast today. Supply. I wonder if Van Helsing will get 2 actions. One to no longer be in hospital, and then one to supply. You know, something I never noticed is that the spaces with a hospital, if you look closely, you'll see that, I mean, well, you'll notice the cross. That's pretty obvious, right? But you can also see that there's actually like an entire little separate tiny circular area attached to the square of the city. And so here's the city, big square, just like 56 would be, or 17. And then attached to the big square is the little circle, and that's the hospital where your hunter is stuck. Neither in the city nor not in the city. He's like separate to the city, if that makes sense, which is how the rules treat it. So that's neat that it kind of visually represents that. So he is supplying. A little trash talking going on. Gotta love it. So Godalming is supplying. What did he discard? He discarded a horse? That sucks. Oh, poor Skybreaker. He probably had the horse already and was hoping for something, and then he got a horse and something else. So he has horse, heavenly host, and then he drew a horse and one more item, and he tossed out the horse. Oh, he's not trying to go after Dracula? Huh. Interesting. Because he played the Renewed Vigor, but he's not trying to just take down Dracula. He's going after the trail, it seems. Maybe Dr. Seward doesn't have what it takes to get there. He doesn't have the movement required. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Ah, see, he's wise to what you're trying to do. He knows now this combat is about keeping the vampire alive. It isn't about fanging to try to score points before it dies. Mesmerize? No, fang, because he saw the knife already. But there's 2 knives. Nice. Okay. Well played. Worm Pallet. I'm sorry, Skybreaker. Skybreaker. Well played, Skybreaker. Now do you just go crazy and play the other knife again? Or do you try to dodge a strength or punch a mesmerize? Yeah, punch that mesmerize. Oh, I thought you'd go for it. Yeah, I mean, you've seen a strength and you've seen a fang. So the most likely options there were mesmerize, and slightly less likely would be claws, because he wouldn't want to play claws. So punching there would have actually been a really sound play. He might have fanged you, and that would have been pretty bad. But I don't know. I think I'd settle for that. Because he'd go up to 3 and then be down to 2. Then again, he's still got a lot of time to kill it. Maybe he's just like, don't let it fang me. Don't let it fang me. No reason to let it fang me. No reason to let him have another point. There's tons of time to kill it. So just keep trying until those knives get through. But yeah, high levels, you never forget that card counting aspect, right? Dracula has 2 of every card except for Mist, so when he plays 1 Strength and 1 Fang, suddenly Strength and Fangs become a lot less likely to be seen. But the sort of counterweight to that is that Dracula knows that and will hide doubles from you sometimes in order to manipulate you into thinking he doesn't have the doubles. And then he'll play double Fangs or double Strength or something like that. So it's a balancing act. But yeah, I mean, if you're going by probability, you have to combine the probabilities with what is the vampire incentivized to do, right? So he wanted to keep that vampire alive, and I think he was pretty incentivized to play Mesmerize or Strength. And since he already played Strength, he just had Mesmerize left. Could have gone for that punch. You never know. I mean, you gotta kill it, right? Otherwise, Dracula wins. Now, that's 13 points. No, that's 12 points. That's a good point. Maybe don't punch there, because if he gets another point and matures it, he wins. Gotta watch out when the calculus can change on you all of a sudden, right? Like right now, if this vampire matures, it's not actually game over yet. But if you try to fight it and it fangs you and scores another point, all of a sudden it can mature for good game. Game's interesting like that. I've seen many a game where the hunters have all cornered Dracula and it looks like it's curtains for Dracula, but he has a really high amount of influence and he's able to kill one of them before he goes down, and it's a good game for Dracula. When Dracula has a lot of influence, the hunter's options become more limited and Dracula's options become more broad in scope. But only as everything starts to fall into place, right? Like Dracula could have 12 influence, but if he's surrounded by 4 hunters and there's still, half a week of the game to go before he gets Fury of Dracula points, I mean, that won't help him. But if he has high influence, he can leverage that into a big advantage if he's able to pull it off. For example, once he has 6 influence points, hunters have to address the rumored vampire, right? They don't no longer have the luxury of just letting it mature as an option. That's sort of the most obvious example, but yeah, another example would be if Dracula has enough points that killing a hunter can win him the game, well, suddenly he has more options in combat now. More favorable ones that can potentially lead to victory, that is. But where is he? Okay, Sophia, 56. That's pretty obvious. Spy mature. Looks like he's going to target Dalming. That makes sense because he's not in a big city. He'll have to lose one of those knives that he was using to try to kill that vampire. Okay, that's pretty effective. I think spy mature is one of those things you have to use cleverly. It has to be done somewhat effectively. Like, it has to do with when the spy goes off, right? The spy mature happens during the Dracula phase, and then that's the hunter's chance. The next day they could just say, okay, I supply, and I get a new gun instead, right? No big deal. But if you're able to snipe somebody who has something more valuable than like a common pistol or a rifle, like Godalming has 2 knives. Make him lose one of those, it's a lot more value. Also, he's far from the city, so he doesn't have the option of just supplying during his turn to get it right back. Spy is one of those timing things. Like, if you land on Dracula City right? And he hits you with a spy, and all of a sudden you have to fight him tonight, and you don't have any weapon. That can be huge. But if Dracula matures his spy and targets one of your hunters, and the hunter goes, oh, okay, I lose my rifle, and then next day, dawn, I supply, and I get a new rifle, then it's all of a sudden not very effective. You don't really get a lot out of that. It's all about the timing with spy, I feel like. This one could prove valuable, because now Godalming has to still try to kill this vampire, but he only has the one knife, and Dracula knows exactly what he's going to try to do. Try to stab it with a knife. Maybe for that reason you just punch it, bait out the strengths. Tricky. Are you going to let Constanta mature? That could be another bad card. So Dracula's hiding in 56. You need chartered carriages and you need forewarned. I mean, if you could do that, you could maybe tomorrow, maybe Dracula's going to move to 17, right? Because he smells weakness. He smells weakness over here with these hunters. Like, not in terms of the player. Like, the player's going to be fine, but like, Van Helsing just got beat up and lost his cards, and there might not be enough movement preparation going on over here, and a renewed vigor already went off. So it could be that they're still picking up and they're kind of tired. So Dracula can just go, I'll just move to 17, take my chances, and then wait for them to all rush me, and then I'll pop my fog and laugh and leave. Or, yeah, there it is. There's the hide. Yeah. So you either force him right now, because you can't wolf form over CG here. Yeah, that will be a non-option. So he's gonna have to go here, and then after that he's gonna want to wolf form, or more likely just go to C, probably. So yeah, be ready for him to move to 17. If he does that, try to get him in a big gang fight. And if he doesn't, then he's going to C, right? And you can have Godalming or somebody go take care of Constanta, and then go take care of Varna with the hide, and Sophia in time, right? I mean, well, maybe you finish up Sophia. I don't know. I don't think Godalming's actually going to be able to do all that by himself. Maybe you send in Seward too. But then after that, Dracula's going to go to the Black Sea. He's going to go to the Ionian. He's going to probably go to a third sea space. You have a good chance of catching him. He doesn't... It's Sunday, right? There's going to be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Excuse me. He'll be in one of these sea zones by Tuesday of this week. And there's going to be 2 despair tokens on board at that point. So he's still going to have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. You've got like a week and a day to catch him. And if he stops at 13 during that and feeds, you know, that's going to be really annoying. It's going to be like you have 2 days less. So I would say, yeah, if it was me, I'd be thinking, get one of these hunters to help Godalming clear these encounters. and the other 2 hunters start moving, and then you try to commit to like getting one of those 2 initial hunters back on to Dracula, because you'd be surprised how much time there can be, right? Like, you can have a hunter in 10 and Dracula's already in the Terranian, and you're just 2 moves and then a chartered carriage, and all of a sudden, like, you're right in the action. You could potentially even move on to him. Assuming, yeah, I mean, he has the horses, so you could make that work. This is going to be the feed, probably, because, yeah, he's on top of his fog right now, almost certainly. But is it one fog, or did he double down and put down both fogs? Somehow I kind of feel like it's only one of them. Yeah, there's the feed. Makes good sense. Alright. I say just kill the vampire in Sophia. I mean, you have to worry, though, because if the Constanta one, if this is actually a vampire, that's pretty bad, even without the rumor token. I think that's pretty bad right now at this stage of the game. Like if I were Dracula, I would absolutely take that. I'd be like, oh, right, I'm at 8 points now. But now I'm going to go to C at full health and just kill a weak at C, and then from 8 I'll go to 11, and then I'll win the game. Right? I think as Dracula you would absolutely take 8 here if you had a new vampire down in Constanta. But then the question becomes, if that's the case, can you even do anything about it? Can you even kill it? Probably not, unless you can like somehow get Dr. Seward there with a stake right now or something like that. But if you can't do that, you should probably just let him have it. Then after that, see if he matures it or not, and then afterwards, that's when you deal with Sophia. Don't deal with Sophia tonight. See if he matures this card first. Then if it's a vampire, Sophia will take care of itself. And Varna too, for that matter. Just supply. Then again, I mean, if he doesn't mature this, you're gonna have 2 more days to take care of Sophia, right? So you could even just position, yeah, I like the move with Dr. Seward, because tomorrow, Dr. Seward can worry about Sophia if he needs to. This feels like overcommitting, but when he leaves by the Black Sea, you have a little more time, so that part's good. And he is deterring Dracula from moving to 17 as well, so that part's good, but I don't think Dracula's interested in that at all. Hey, Aruk, welcome aboard. Yeah, it's a pretty fun game so far. Dracula's sort of been one step ahead as far as the movement game goes, and the hunters have been kind of lagging behind, trying to keep up. A hoax was laid down, like smack in the middle of the trail, and it happened to be the one that got through. The spy got through as well, matured. Hunters have been dealing with a couple matures like that. They're about to deal with another one here. This card in Constance is going to mature. So they've been doing a fair job of keeping on to Dracula's trail, but yeah, due to some missteps or something, unfortunately, yeah, some stuff is going to get through, even with Jonathan Harker lending a helping hand. Skybreaker hasn't really so much been waiting for Jonathan Harker to flip everything over and then take care of it. He's been charging in with his horses a bit, Van Helsing, charging right in, fought Dracula. He actually got defeated. And, well, no, actually, he didn't get defeated until he played his Consecrated Ground. And then after he played his Consecrated Ground, Dracula matured a hoax and got Great Wolf, and the Great Wolf killed Van Helsing. Here's a spy going off here, losing some tickets. Okay, so that was a spy in 17 that matured. Got it. Now Dracula's gone to sea. Okay. So you kill this thing in Sofia, and then I would say you also try to take care of Varna with the same hunter, potentially. Move Godalming to Varna right now. And, I mean... no, that could be bad, because it's fog, right? Gotta figure it's fog. What do you do here? Do you give up on Varna because it's just fog? Somebody needs to kill this vampire, obviously. It's only at 1 health. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Everybody else, you gotta hightail it to cut off like 25, 36. Munich. Gotta make sure he doesn't try to go to the Adriatic. Yeah, they'll have a little bit of time now, because Dracula's going to have to put down like 3 sea cards. Yeah, seeing Rufus would help here. That would be just the time to see him. But we have to use our actions here to do other stuff right now, it looks like. Alright, Seward's going to follow up on the vampire. A little bit of teamwork. Lord Godalming softened him up with his knife, and now Dr. Seward's going to finish him off with his knife. Oh! How about a taste of some garlic there, you vampire? Well played, well played. Nice. A little bit of garlic, that's the cure. And doctor wrote him a prescription for some garlic. Yeah, take 2 of these, call me in the morning. I mean, but now do you have Seward go to Varna and deal with that and potentially get fogged and batted, or who knows what the heck's going to happen, but there's probably going to be some fog involved. Do you do that, or do you ignore it? Or do you say have Van Helsing go and deal with it? I'm kind of a fan of that idea. You get Van Helsing to go and deal with it, then afterwards, the rest of the game, he can just sit there and supply and trade. And the other hunters can all head west. And it's like, how bad can it be? Right? Like, I almost feel like whatever it is, it's not going to kill Van Helsing. He's got full health. He's going to run over there, be like, it's a vampire. Hopefully he'll stake it. I mean, you got to think about worst case scenario though. It could be a new vampire, in which case, yeah, I mean, you want to make sure he's got a stake at least. Maybe you send him there, and then you can find out if it's a new vampire, and then afterwards, like Seward or somebody could help. That's sort of inefficient, because Seward has to move first. Yeah. Different schools of thought here. It all depends on the items, I think, because if he has the items to deal with a vampire, I mean, he should probably be the one to do it, but if he has the stuff to fight Dracula with instead, like 2 guns and holy bullets maybe. It is a new vampire. Ah, yeah. I mean, evil can be predictable sometimes. It makes really good sense to leave that behind. Because as soon as he was revealed in Sophia, right? Dracula was in Sophia. Van Helsing moved on to him. Reveals the Reckless. And Dracula says to himself, all right, now I'll move on to Varna and I'll put another one down. So they can deal with this Reckless. They can stake it. They can shoot it with holy bullets or what have you. And as soon as that's done, they'll have another, even tougher one to deal with. Makes really good sense. And you put the rumor on the one in the back, so hopefully that one gets through. But if not, you've got your good old backup vampire right here. Yeah, as Dracula, you'd love to take 3 points here. That'd be totally acceptable. Totally acceptable outcome for your act. Okay, this will be Ionian. If only we had Mr. Rufus Smith. That would be really cool right now. But, yeah, that's just how it goes. You don't always get what you want. Jonathan Harker did help. I mean, he pulled his weight a little. Golly, this discard. Oh, look, these two poor horses, both dead. Knife, post. Makes me wonder what they are holding. Is it a bunch of guns with holy bullets? No, there's 2 holy bullets right there. There's a third one. Yikes. 2 stakes. There's the fog. Nice. That's huge. Escape route. Huge. This is huge. Now if he has the stake on top of all that, oh my goodness. Or is Van Helsing gonna deal with it? No. He should just train. Yeah, there you go. Gotta set up. Gotta get ready to stop Dracula heading west. It's really a shame they're not in 58 already. Really a shame, but you know, you could be in 57 or maybe 38 tomorrow. And then Dracula moves another C-Stage. So there's the stake! Yes! Let's go, Skybreaker! The hunters are getting it together. Was that another horse discarded? Let me see. Yep. That's 3 horses in the discard pile. The first one was discarded when Van Helsing died. He lost his. The second one was discarded by Godalming because he had no choice. He had 2 knives and a horse. After he drew his cards, it was double horse, double knife, right? So he's like, well, I'm gonna throw out the horse and keep the 2 knives, which is probably smart. So that was how the second horse got discarded, was just by unlucky draw. And then the third one, I must have missed all this. I'm not sure who discarded that one. I guess Godalming, because he just supplied. That would make sense. He had a horse already, so he didn't need another one. That's unfortunate bit of luck there. Alright, so now he's in the Tyranian, you would think. But it's possible he's in the Adriatic. Since Consecrated Ground has been used already, that kind of increases the likelihood that he might go Adriatic. Because he wouldn't fear the money trail CG. But I don't know. If I was Dracula, I'd probably go Tyranian. This is the part of the game as Dracula where you start to feel like you just have no choices. You don't have any options that are good. They're all just like you're picking from a pool of bad options. Everybody's moving and grooving. Whoa, did he excellent weather? Yeah, nice. Nicely played. That was really cool. And yeah, it's possible Dracula went to the Adriatic, but even if he did, by going to the Tyranian like that, you're getting ahead of him. Getting ahead of old Drac. If he wants to go to the Adriatic and wolf form to 38 or something, that's fine. You'll land in Genoa. You're essentially catching up to him either way. Yeah, having the trail cleared here is very important. I agree, Aruk. The fact that Seward was just able to go to 56, get rid of 2 encounters, just like blink of an eye, and now he's back in the fight, really important. Like, if he has a sense of emergency, he could potentially get on top of Dracula soon here. The pity is he only has 2 cards, but they could be good cards. Godalming's in a really good spot right now. He can discourage Dracula from landing to 13, which is really what you need to do right now. Dracula lands in 13. Well, he wouldn't be able to feed. That's the one thing you got going for you. He wouldn't be able to feed or hide. But he could Dark Call, then he could get his hide on, then he could get his feed on if he really wanted to do it. And a Dark Call actually might not be that bad here because there's about to be a reshuffle. Yeah. It took a stake. It took a forewarned. It took an escape route. But, I mean, aside from the forewarned, that's acceptable right now, because you're not going to need any of that stuff for a while. You just got to go all in and kill him. Yeah, the cost is high for Dracula. Yeah, I think that's probably what you mean, Aruk. Yeah, like the Dracula is in a bad spot because they've just dealt with that vampire effortlessly. It's gone. And then, yeah, on top of that, you have your fog is gone. So he might still have 1 fog left. But it's possible he doesn't. But yeah, it looks like the encounters did just reshuffle, if I'm not mistaken. So we're likely looking at a wolf form from Tyranian. So our most likely suspect here is 36. But, I mean, he could have also wolf formed to CAG. He could have wolf formed to 13. Maybe I got my math wrong here. Yeah, because next turn, hide is going to be available to him. So he could hide in CAG. I was mistaken about that. He could go to 13 with this move. Next turn the trail will slide and he'll hide. And the next turn the trail will slide and he'll feed. So we'll find out if that ends up coming back to bite him in the butt. Wolf form to Cag's uncommon, but it can have its moments. It seems like it'd be really unlikely with Godalming in the Tyranian Sea. But by wolf forming, you're basically telling Godalming that you didn't go to 13, right? So you trick him in that regard. And if he did go to 13, he'd be kind of far away from the hunters for a little bit. While they're doing other... They're kind of catching up still. Ooh, that was danger. That was super dangerous. Mr. Cat, can you stop attacking me, please? Claws hurt. And teeth hurt. Really dangerous sending her to 38. She would have been fighting a 10 health Dracula with her garlic revealed and 2 other cards. Yes, they're like little gremlins. They just come out of nowhere. Here I am, time to die. Yeah, let's see what's going on here. I think he may have missed an opportunity for a psychic bond here. Moving Mina to 38 tells you, oh great, Dracula didn't go to 38. But that's just one city, right? And even the danger aside of moving her there, that's just one city. Whereas he could have wolfed to 20. He could have wolfed to 25. He could have wolfed to 37. He could have wolfed to 40, 45, 5, 13. All those places are in Italy. You can rule out all of Italy just psychic bond. Then that leaves you, what does that leave you afterwards? You've got 38 and you've got 36. And technically you also, I mean, he could still be over here, right? All right, we found him. It was the obvious one. And he hid. That's interesting. That was not obvious. But yeah, technically he could have been over here too. But that's the less likely, but still possible. I think you psychic bond Italy, you learn a ton of information. It becomes like 96% likely that Dracula went here. But didn't need it. Just sent Godalming right there by sea. Says, hey, I'm here. And it looks like Dracula's waiting for him. Dracula's set the ambush up ahead of time. But what he didn't know was that Godalming also brought a planned ambush. I don't know that I would have played it on the Reckless. I might have saved it to play against Dracula himself. Oh, he wants to kill... He's using everything against the Reckless. Kill Dracula. Okay, that's a bit of a misplay there. You want to throw the dodge, and then you can use the planned ambush to select a new one. Now you've revealed a bit more information than you intended to. That's okay. I've done the same thing myself. But yeah, for anybody watching, you play your planned ambush. Go ahead and throw punch, dodge, or escape, and then afterwards the game will prompt you to pick a new one. You just pick a new one. Or even the same one if you want. So don't reveal more information than you need to. Yeah, maybe he's trying to kill it to make sure that it doesn't fang a bunch of people and get a bunch of points for Dracula. That's one. Uh-oh. It's a double. Good old double vamp. How is he going to get them into the fight? I don't think we've seen a sense of emergency yet. Just press every button before I pick the right one. Mesmerized. Godalming with only 2 item cards here. Get Roscoe's patent lawyer. Intellectual theft? Copyright infringement? No. Yeah, that's a really good point. You don't want to use sense of emergency into a double vampire. That would be exceptionally risky and dangerous. Maybe if you were Lord Godalming and you were at full health, right? Maybe it's not such a big deal then. You take 6 damage from the whole thing. But yeah, you're right. That'd be exceptionally risky to do because you gotta assume you're gonna take 4 damage from both of them. And then Dracula's gonna dish out another 2 to 4. So that's like you're talking like maybe 8 already. Oh gosh, no, that's not good. Save it for Dracula, man. This vampire's on the hide card. Maybe he just lost focus a little, or he thought that it really wouldn't expect it or something like that. I don't know. But this vampire's on the hide card. Even killing it, unless you're trying to move the other hunters in, I get that. Maybe he's thinking just kill one of them. But still, that just seems exceptionally low value compared to the risk. It's like high risk, medium, low reward. Because yeah, you would have killed it, but it's just the one on the hide card. So unless you're gonna do something like move everybody else in, because now Godalming only had 2 items to begin with, right? He had that Heavenly Host and he had the knife. So while he can still play his knife, that's 4 damage that he could have done to Dracula that he can't do to Dracula now. And Dracula only has 10 health. Oh, bats. That's not good. That's really unfortunate. Trade his... Oh, that's right. All the horses are discarded except for... I think everybody's is at this point. Yeah, that's right. There's only 3. So even Godalming lost his at some point. Maybe he decided it wasn't worth it to keep it when he needed to be at sea chasing Dracula with excellent weather. That kind of actually makes a lot of sense. He's thinking, I'll just catch up to Dracula by sea and land on him, and when I get there I won't need the horse and I'll be a lot better off with an item. Maybe that's how it went down, not 100% sure. But this is bad. Dracula knows exactly what you have. All he has to do is wait for you to play it, and then he can mesmerize, or he can fang you now. And yeah, it's not looking good. a planned ambush here would have been really nice, because you could have punched him in the face for mesmerizing you, and then there'd be a better chance of getting away. Okay. I mean, you're still gonna die, but at least you're gonna deal 2 damage to Dracula. But yeah, well played to Drac plotting there. Good plotting. Yeah, once Godalming became mesmerized, it became a 50-50. Like, Fangs will kill, but also plotting will kill. Because if he plots, he gets the Fangs, and you've played your knife already, so now he's going to Fang and kill. And he's going to get his life back. I forgot about that. He's going to suck your blood, so that's really unfortunate. And he's at 12 points now. Clever work, Drac. I mean, the guy had a lot of hit points. Yeah, this is bad. Yeah, this is not a good situation. Dracula just defeated a hunter who had 11 hit points. That was crazy. And he didn't do it by getting through his hit points, yeah. Yeah, it's important for Dracula to recognize when plotting is just as lethal as the card that will actually kill, right? Yeah, very good play. Agreed. Like, let's say, for example, that Godalming was down to 4 hit points. Then in that case, it would have been claws will kill, right? But also plotting is just as deadly, because you'll plot for the claws and then kill. So it becomes sort of this much wider options become open for Dracula that lead to victory, right? Not only can I Fang Godalming here and kill him, but I can also plot here, and that will also seal the deal. And it all starts with being bitten, you know, it all starts with being weakened. Oh dear, and now Van Helsing's weakened as well. And that's an influence point for Dracula because of that, so that's a good game. Yeah, Skybreaker had a lot of opportunity there towards the end to catch up to Dracula and surround him and defeat him. Oh my gosh, what's going on? Oh, it happens. It happens. Yeah, there were some opportunities there, I would say, for Skybreaker to claw back the game. He was behind at the beginning, and then he was way less behind, and then by the end of it, he was arguably winning. With the trail completely cleared, Dracula at sea suffering damage, forced to land amidst hunters who are all closing around his position. But like the cornered tiger, you know, he can turn and make a stand and fight back. And if you're not prepared to get back up to the other hunters, then yeah, that can be the end of the game. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah, so some really good back and forth there. Very entertaining game. The power was in the hands of Dracula, and then the power was in the hands of the hunters, and then all of a sudden, surprise, Dracula's right here, and he's found a path to defeating you. With the double vamp. Double vamp was very powerful. But yeah, thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and if you're watching this later on, thanks for watching it later on too. And if not, thank you for joining me, everybody. That was a great game. All right, everybody, have a good one. We'll talk to you around the Discord.